Hello, everybody. Welcome to the VGU.TV GamerCast, the official gaming podcast of VGU.TV. I am Joshua Mobley. I'm your host. With me, the one, the only, the James Fangello.
Hello.
And Alan Muir.
Big Apple, 3 a.m.
Big Apple. It's gonna be, not a short show. It's just gonna be basically just the three of us. Usually
Just
there's
the
like four.
three of us.
Yeah, usually there's 3 or 4 people here. But, yeah, I mean, it'll be fine. It'll be a more, what is the word I'm looking for? Civilized show. God, I can't, it's gonna be a more
focused, there's probably another good
focused,
word for it.
civilized episode. I believe this is episode 48. Am I right, Alan?
Yeah,
Is this
it's 48.
Okay, yeah. Also, I need to send you later. I know this has nothing to do with the listeners, but I need to send you the older RSS feed later because it's got tons of other episodes on it.
Okay.
So that our iTunes can get caught up. Anyway, let's just kick this off. Let's go right into the show. James, what have you been playing?
Okay, well, I've been playing the new Star Trek game that I just put up on site.
So you gave it a C-, so it's
I
not
did give
that
it a
bad.
C-.
It's
not unplayable, but it's not great. Like, the mechanics, I think I said this, the gameplay and the story are decent. The characterization and the voice acting is good. And the presentation is god-awful. So take that for what it is. It's, everything is blurry and pixelated and crappy looking for most environments. I will say this though, on the Enterprise itself or in outer space, the environments are actually usually pretty good. But when you get down on like the Gorn planet or you get down on the surface of places, it's ugly. And sometimes the worst thing is there was a cutscene where the Gorn commander, who's the main bad guy, was unbelievably pixelated in the cutscene.
He just looks like an 8-bit character.
Seriously, he looked worse. He looked worse than than in Mass Effect 1 before the graphical assets loaded.
Ugh.
It looked worse than that. It was awful.
They looked like a poop man. They were just
it was just oof. But I mean, there's definitely stuff to enjoy about the game. The characterization is one of the best parts of the game because you got Kirk and Spock, and then you got all the other characters like Scotty and Bones, and they got all the actors from the movie to play their parts. Chekhov and Uhura are kind of just there, but Sulu, Bones, and Scotty all get pretty good parts and good dialogue. And then obviously Kirk and Spock, that dynamic is pretty well done. Third-person shooter stuff and the gameplay is, it's decent enough. It's not broken. It's just not great. It's just kind of decent. You can get through it. And the story is relatively straightforward, but it's funny because it's a double-edged sword because I don't like it when stories are too complex because I don't think every story needs to have a twist.
Nope.
I think nowadays we seem to think every story needs to have a twist. I don't think it does.
Nope.
I think some stories can be straightforward, and they can just be told in a straightforward manner. You don't have to have a twist. And I think sometimes people try to shoehorn in a twist where it's just not necessary. So I don't like that, but I also don't like it when a story is way too straight. I like maybe not a twist, but at least a bit of a reveal, or maybe just goes in a different direction a little bit. Not a full-on, oh no, this person we thought was good is bad now. Like not
I get it.
But something to be able to spice it up a little bit more than just bad guys get the thing and we have to chase them down.
Where they're like, it's not the volcano we have to worry about. It's the water. And they're like, come again? It's like one of those twists. It's not really like a twist, but you're like, wait, I've been focusing on the wrong thing the whole time. That kind of thing.
It's not the volcano, it's the water.
I pulled that out of my ass.
I have no idea what that even means.
That should be the name of our episode.
I absolutely should be.
I just made that up. Like I was trying to just make a point. Like, there's like twists and then there's realizations, kind of.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
This is actually pretty sad because Digital Extremes, who worked on the game, did The Darkness 2, which was pretty good. Mm-hmm. They did Warframe.
Oh, I've heard. Is that good? There's people on my friends list playing it all the time.
Well, right now it's still in beta.
Mm-hmm. It's like open beta though, right?
Yeah.
So Alan doesn't know if it's good or not.
Honestly,
He's like, I don't
the
know.
person
Is it
who
good? Well,
the
it's
person
in
who
beta.
who knows best is probably Nate.
Didn't he write that article?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's clearly the budget that was there, which probably wasn't very big, didn't go to polish and presentation. It just went to,
voice actors,
likenesses, voice acting. Yeah, it went to voice acting and likenesses and stuff like that. Although, I mean, Paramount had their logo before it, so I'm sure they didn't have to wrestle the the property out of anybody's hands. I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys make a game. I do like that they didn't make the game, like the movie, the game. They didn't make Star Trek Into Darkness the game, and then release it a month before, because that would have ruined the plot for me, and that would have been a no-go. I wouldn't have. They released on the Xbox. They released Revenge of the Sith, the game based on the movie, about a month before the movie came out. And I played the game because I just had no, I have no self-control, and I played the game. And I was like, first of all, a lot of stuff that happens in that game doesn't happen in the movie. It's just some BS that just was thrown in there.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's like, I don't even want to. I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to know. It's not worth it.
Do you remember the original Spider-Man, the game, like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I don't remember the game.
The game was actually pretty good, from what I remember. I bet if I went back, it's a piece of shit. But back then, when I played it, I remember thinking it was pretty good. And I remember that apparently, like, one of the skins you could unlock was, like, Stan Lee. And then...
I love it when you get to have him, like, in your web slinging around.
Yeah, and then you could... I think another one was Mary Jane. So it was like Mary Jane saving Mary Jane. It was so weird. But, I mean... That game was pretty fun. It'll never be as good as the Spider-Man game on the PlayStation, though. Could never beat it.
You're talking about the one that Neversoft did?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That game was awesome.
Treyarch actually did the Dreamcast port.
Really? I actually didn't know that was on Dreamcast. But yeah, that game was awesome. I played the hell out of that game.
Yeah, I recently got that for N64.
Awesome. Anyway.
Let's see, what else did I play? I probably did something else, but I played a little more Injustice, because I bought that game, and I don't want to just kick it to the curb just because a new game came out, but played a little bit more Injustice. I'm looking at my Xbox and seeing what's been in there. It was a lot of Star Trek. It was a decent amount of Injustice. I think I started and then stopped to play Halo 4. I think I, put the disc in and then went, I don't know, I don't want to play right now.
Have you been playing any multiplayer, like online multiplayer in Injustice?
I did a couple matches so that I could have something to say for the review, but I'm not really big on going online for most games. I used to be.
Gotcha.
All I did was go online. Now I'm kind of like, I don't want to deal with other people. I just want to play the game. So yeah, no, I've been kind of staying offline. Yeah. I think that's it for me. I think that's all I've played.
Awesome. Alan?
I had the pleasure of playing Dead Island Riptide.
Was that a pleasure, or was it?
It was tough, very, very tough.
Did you play the original? I don't really know.
The
only one I know who played the original was Matt, and let's be honest, his opinions aren't very valid.
Yeah, I played the original and I played it on Xbox, then played it again on PC, and I loved it. It felt like the Walking Dead before Walking Dead, because it was you really had the sense of you had to survive at all costs, and the enemies were, they were very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Or you were really weak.
Yeah, and it felt very grounded.
And this one doesn't?
No, this one, it's not that it doesn't, it's the same game. With some modifications.
It's like, it's not a significant, it's 1.5, it's not like 2, It's like, it's not a significant enough change from the first one.
Yeah, like, the enemies are still annoying when when a horde, not a horde, like when 3 or 4 zombies run at you.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, the ghouls in Fallout 3.
Mm-hmm.
when they remember know how like when they see you they scream, do that whole pose,
Right?
Then run at you. It's almost the exact same thing.
Really?
So, like they did change some things, like you're using boats this time, and you can get actually taken out of the boat and into the water by drowners, new zombie species. But it's not really fun. It just feels like a chore to get around. Like, it felt like they were... Like, in Dead Island, there were so many things to explore.
And then this is just an island.
It's an island that half of it is flooded. It felt like Techland didn't even want to do it. Like, they just covered half of it so they would have less work to do.
I could see that.
They covered half of it in water because they didn't want to make the other half. That's great. Well, we have an island.
Is it just like water, or is it like
water over it?
Because if it's an island, it's just cutting the island in half, you know? Or is it?
Like, are just parts of it like sunk down, like underwater?
Due to monsoons, that was like happening in the first game. Everything got carried over literally by the waves. So that originally there were no zombies on the new area Palani, which can I just say the names for these islands are just ridiculous. Banoi, Palani.
They do kind of sound like tropical islands, though.
Yeah, but like the side quests are just literally just fetch quests.
Go get me 5 mushrooms.
You're pretty close. That was pretty close to one of the actual side quests I had to do. Bring me some bark from a tree.
Like,
go kill a massive drug dealer so I can get his coke.
Because, what else am I going to do on this fucking island?
But they did, there is the ability to import your Dead Island 1 character.
For what?
I'm assuming to carry over your skills and stuff. But it felt kind of pointless on the PS3 because Dead Island came out only on 360 and PC. So I
just didn't know that. I didn't know it didn't come out on PS3.
Yeah, it was It just doesn't make sense why they included it on the PS3 version, unless somehow you hacked it. It's just not a good game.
Well, I will still steer clear of that.
I mean, originally I was going to give it a C+. But as I played more of it, I realized no, C+ is actually kind of too good for this.
Yeah.
So I decided to give it just a plain old C.
It's funny. I had the exact opposite thing with Star Trek. I was going to give it a D+, because I was looking at just the score, and I'd probably have given it a 6 or a 6.5 or something like that. But when we go to a letter, a 6.5 is a D. It's because 65% is a D. So 6.5 is a D. And a D is like, oh, come on. I mean, D is technically a passing grade in school, but you really failed if you had a D. Though.
You're not.
I mean, if you went in class, they didn't like a D. So there's that connotation. So a D+ or a C-, I kind of felt like I was going to give a D+, but I'm like, D+ seems so mean for a game that clearly got some things right. It was fun enough. It just had really bad presentation. And like, I mean, if the gameplay was broken, I could see it. I could see giving it a D or an F. But the gameplay itself is playable. It's not, impossible to do what you have to do, and there are definitely fun and interesting parts of the game. So I felt like being, anything with a D it sounded too harsh. So I ended up actually going up to a C- instead of a D+.
Yeah, to be honest, the only reason I didn't give it, like fellow writer Tunde, he suggested I give it like a C- because I literally just said in the chat, this game is fucking awful.
Well, yeah.
But honestly, the new character John Morgan is actually pretty cool. He's a close quarter type of guy, like martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do this awesome sprinting move or sprinting kick, where if you run and kick a zombie, he'll just go flying. So
the more you talk, the less I want to play it.
That's the point.
All right.
But
I guess mission accomplished.
But they included more weapons, pretty much the same amount of guns, which they say you get guns really early on, but in reality you just get it during the prologue, which is just a total ripoff.
Riptide.
Yeah, Riptide.
All right.
Basically, it is not worthy. As I said in my review, it'd be best to just let it slip back in the grave and just let the series cool until Dead Island 2 comes out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah. They're now that like the generation's ending, we're starting to see like all the thrown up franchises, kind of like all the games that are just like, well, let's try and kick one out right before, this generation ends and we have to make a next gen game.
I mean, the game it's only been like a year and a half since Dead Island 1 came out.
Yeah.
But I will give them credit. They could have charged $59.99 for this. They charged only $49.99.
It's an expansion pack. That's why it costs $50. I kept seeing that on Twitter.
It really does feel like an expansion. It's like the whole Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas thing. People said it felt like an expansion pack. No, this is a real expansion pack.
Well, I would say New Vegas was a little bit of the same, but like core mechanics got changed in New Vegas. Aiming down the sights and shit and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, aiming down the sights.
Different perks
was nice.
As well. There were unique perks, and they added an entirely new difficulty. They added hardcore mode where you had to like eat and drink and sleep and stuff. I hella want to play that. I want to play that so bad.
That's too much to think about. There's no way I'd be able to manage all that.
It sounds rad. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, even when they say it's recommended that you don't do it.
Yeah, they recommend for first-time
because they know that if you try it, most people are gonna be like, "This is stupid. I gotta eat and do all this shit. I gotta manage all this bullshit. I don't want to do this."
That's true. If you're not up for the challenge of that, I can absolutely see that being a detriment to the game. You being like, "Oh, come on, I don't want to have to deal with all of this," I
want to do it. I remember, oh my god, there was an old top-down RPG from the early the late 90s, and it was kind of like Diablo. I think it was called Darkstone or something. I don't know. I can't remember, but I remember you had to eat in it. It required you to eat. It was pretty hardcore. I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, is that all you've been playing?
Well, I decided to. I bought an emulator device off Amazon.
Like a Retron, or?
Yeah, like a Retron.
Okay.
Except this time it's called the Mini Game King. I assumed it'd be normal size, but turns out it's actually like a third the size of a PSP.
Ew, I don't.
Yeah, I thought when I first pulled it out of the box, I immediately thought to myself, well, in my defense, it looked bigger on the computer. But
it's like a Big Mac.
It's actually smaller than. I think it's about the same size actually as an NES controller.
Jesus Christ! So it's like a Game Boy Micro, basically.
Yeah, but it could play Game Boy Advance games, Nintendo or NES games, Super Nintendo games. Even plays the old Capcom PlayStation or plays something.
Mhm.
But I was playing Link to the Past on it, and actually it wasn't that bad.
You're like, oh, it's okay, man.
I mean, I can't complain. I spent over $100 on it. Well, actually, I can't complain.
You can complain.
Yeah.
You can complain a lot. I spent $100 on an Ouya like over a year ago, and I still don't have it. So I have a right to complain, which lots of people are really angry about that. By the way, that they haven't got there, and apparently, they're saying that all of the Kickstarter pre-orders won't get shipped until the end of next month. And the first week of June is when, like, it's gonna hit stores and shit. So everybody's like, well, what the fuck did we pay for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we pre-ordered it so we could get it early. You said we were gonna get it early, like, months early, and a week is not, you know. I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, barely anyone's got their console yet. And the Ouya people are barely talking. So it's kind of annoying. Because, one, the reviews for it, the early reviews are not that promising, and B, like...
Did you say one and then B?
Yeah, I just realized
you
that.
did. You just did that.
A, the early reviews aren't that promising, and B, like, your customers are already getting pissed off because you're not sending them what they fucking ordered. You know? It's like a clusterfuck.
Yeah, that's not very good.
Anyway. I guess I'll go into what I've been playing. So I started getting back into Dota, found out one of my classmates is a huge Dota nerd, so I started playing with him. And played last night, like a couple games last night with some of his friends. And then I, oddly enough, have been playing Advance Wars, which is like one of the greatest games of all time. Old Game Boy Advance game. You know, it's really odd. It gave me an idea for a piece, though. It's really odd how, like, nonchalant they are about war in that game. Like, they're sending their soldiers to die, and it's just like, hey man, like, we did it, we won. It's like, dude, half of your soldiers are dead, and you're just like, and there's all these kids running around, like, commanding armies. Like, what country is this? What is happening? They're all child soldiers in the Congo, all coked out and shit. Like, what's going on? Game's fun, though. But, what else did I play? Oh, I did play a little more Injustice. Some online multiplayer. A couple Star Labs. I've kind of been taking a small break from it because I've been really busy on lots of projects. So, not a lot of game time. But I did start Metro 2033 last night.
Oh, you did?
At like midnight. Played till about 1 in the morning. Yeah, it was the first time I ever played it, and you know what? It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's not as open as I thought it was gonna be, but it's I like the way that they tell the story, and I like the way it kind of progresses. It's not like every 5 seconds they're not kind of like, you know, oh man, more, you know, sewer mutants and aliens or whatever the fuck's going on in that game, you know, coming out of the ground and in the shadows. Yeah, like half of the first chapter is you like drinking with all these people, like, oh, you saved my life. Let's drink, like, whoa, you know, and you're just like, you're just drinking. It's just, you know, but I mean, it's interesting, and I think I'll play some more of it. We'll see how far I get. Because I've heard mixed things about it, but I'm liking it so far. I think the shooting is a little off. If that makes any sense. Like, whatsoever. It just feels like the bullets are a little inaccurate.
Well, that's actually the point, because you have 2 sets of ammo. You have regular ammo, like man-made or pre-war ammo. That it's really effective, but that's also your currency.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's the man-made bullets that aren't really effective.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
now it kind of makes more sense
yeah,
now.
so
But,
the whole thing is like the choice of whether or not to literally waste your money killing people or save it up and get more weapons, more ammo.
Gotcha. Interesting.
For those listeners who don't want to play Metro 33 but want to get caught up in time for Metro Last Light, check out Metro 23 a recap.
A recap?
Yeah, on VGU.TV.
Yup. So, like, I haven't actually read your preview yet. Are they doing anything different with Last Light? Like, what's going on with that game? Because I don't know anything about it. Alan?
Yeah.
I was asking you a question.
Sorry. Well, they're changing up the things like the gas masks, or the wristwatch.
You wrote the preview, man.
I know. I'm actually reading the preview right now.
Jesus.
He doesn't remember what he wrote.
Honestly, I've written so many things in the past week, I barely remember a single thing. Like with the gas mask, or the filter, it's not, things are staying the way they were, but the timer for how much air you have left, that's actually being changed. And like, basically, lights are gonna tell you how much to, like, if you start off with like blue, if you go to red or something, it's time to change the filter.
Mm-hmm.
There are gonna be more guns, and like in addition to the ones that are already in it. The dark ones are returning.
So the alien-looking things.
Yeah, the very creepy alien-looking things are back. Two of the factions that were sort of minor in the first game, the Communists and the Fourth Reich, aka the Nazis, they're stepping up this time. And
Ooh.
Yeah, and one of the trailers, you and another ranger are actually trying to sneak through the Nazis without being detected.
Nazis. I like any game where I get to shoot Nazis.
Oh yeah, who doesn't like killing Nazis?
Nazis.
Yeah.
Nazis. Oh, they, yeah.
They're
But then,
like,
like, the undead ones like to kill their own, so.
well, it's because they're
Nazis do
undead.
like
They're not
killing.
Nazis. They're just...
They're still Nazis. If you're in the uniform, you're a Nazi. Nazis.
Reload
Nazis.
time, battery load time, and movement have been increased.
Thank God, because you move hella slow in that game.
And it takes a while when you're reloading too.
Yeah.
There are going to be moral points, which I don't know how like what point you made it to, but
Not very far.
you can there's actually a double ending to the game,
Mm-hmm.
and oddly enough, the one that's the worst ending, or the darkest ending, is the official ending.
Jesus Christ.
So, but the problem is, it was very hard to tell what you had to do morally. So this time around, it's going to be hopefully clearer what you can do.
Interesting. Anyway.
But yeah, after playing Dead Island, I'm worried about Metro.
You're worried about it? It'll be okay. It'll be alright. It looks
Why are you
good.
worried about Metro? Because of Dead Island? Is it the same?
Because, like, all Alan
Silver.
ever gets to review is, like, the crap games.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. I'm worried about Deadpool.
Deadpool's gonna be alright. Don't get worried about Deadpool. It's High Moon, man. They made both of those Transformers games, and they're both really good.
Spoilers.
God damn it. Listeners, if you haven't been around that long, like Matt, we were talking, like, they kept saying that I was spoiling Transformers because I was talking about shit on the box. So now every time I
that's right.
So every time I bring up one of the Transformers games, they go, oh, spoilers, because they're like, oh, there's Dinobots in the game, spoilers.
I love saying spoilers when it's like something that's obvious. It's like, all right, so I'm in Star Trek and I'm playing as Kirk. Spoilers. Like,
they're on the fucking box. Spock is in it.
And the Enterprise. Spoilers! The Enterprise is in it.
There's a Gorn. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Jesus Christ.
But I'm worried because it's Deep Silver publishing both.
Oh, okay.
Or
yeah, but they're just publishing.
I know, but also Metro 2033 was very, very faithful to the book. I don't know if you noticed, but
There's a book?
Yeah, that's what it's at. The funny thing, the book is inspired by like Fallout and Stalker. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the book actually appears in the game multiple times, which is very meta.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, there's also a sequel book, Metro 2034, which oddly Last Light isn't going to be attached to.
It'll be a next gen game.
No. They're actually doing the story themselves. 4A games, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little worried because they don't have Dmitry Russian last name to work to help them with it.
So it's like fan fiction now?
Sort of.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
I do recommend picking up Metro 2033, the book. It's actually not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's actually not that bad. That's
it's a book.
Endorsement.
Yeah.
It's pages with information on it.
They lifted a character right out of Fallout 1.
Which character?
The Master.
Oh. Yeah.
He shows up, or that thing shows up much later.
The Master.
Yeah.
Fallout 1's such a good game.
It's so great.
I
can't wait until that mod is complete.
What mod?
There's a mod for, I think, either Fallout 3 or New Vegas that's redoing Fallout 1, like the story missions.
That's so fucking cool. I want to do that.
I'm still waiting on the piece. I'm still also waiting on the mod that's like the prequel to New Vegas.
The prequel to New Vegas? Interesting.
Yeah.
But no, Fallout 1, like, remade with the, swear to God.
Awesome.
Can edit that out.
You say that, but you never do, so no.
No, I'm not editing it. Allan is.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter, like, what show I'm doing. My grandma will just fucking walk in. She doesn't even, and I'll tell her, like, I'm doing a show.
She doesn't even care.
Whatever, like, ugh.
Oh, well, who cares?
God damn it. Anyway. What the fuck were we talking about?
Fallout.
I think
Fallout.
We were ending Fallout going.
We were getting close to the.
Yeah. Okay, so Fallout 1, I would definitely play I would totally play a remake or a mod for Fallout 1 because it's such a good game. Such a good game. Underrated. Well, I don't know that it's underrated. It's just most people today, when they see that game, they're like, hell no, I wouldn't play that. It looks boring.
Mainly because the isometric perspective.
Yeah, it's like old school isometric. It's not very pretty. But it's very cool. Anyway, let's get on this news. Let's do this. The news. Yeah. Alright. Lost Planet 3 pre-order bonuses, including Hunk and Robo accessories. So Hunk is a character from Resident Evil, and apparently if you pre-order Lost Planet 3 at GameStop, you get 5 unique multiplayer characters, and one of them is Hunk.
Wonder who the other 4 are.
I don't know. They didn't say. But that's going to be on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC on August 27th, so I guess if you're going to buy Lost Planet... Man, who the hell is playing those games? Because I played Lost Planet 1, and I was like, man, this sucks.
I played the demo of Lost Planet 2 with a friend when it first was around. Man, I played it for like 5-10 minutes. I was like, this is bad. I do not want to be involved in this.
Yeah. I played the original Kane and Lynch for 5 minutes with Matt, and I was like, dude, fuck this. This sucks.
Very stark, or very contrast to him saying this is like a bad game he loves.
Yeah. Seriously. Alright, next piece of news. Steam adds subscription plans for MMO-like products. And the first game that they are going to offer a subscription plan for is Darkfall Unholy Wars, which is a sandbox MMO, which I guess just hit Steam through Greenlight. I think I've heard of this game before. My dad was telling me about it. I think he played it for a while. It's like straight up sandbox. Like, I think it's got like permadeath and stuff, and people are like assholes. They'll try to kill you and do specific things. I don't know. I don't remember, but I guess that's cool if you play a lot of MMOs on Steam. I don't really. I just play Dota. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Uprising DLC is going to be out for the PS3 and PC on May 16th. It's already on Xbox 360, so I guess if I have an Xbox and you miss that, then that's your problem. I don't know.
Well, then that's your
I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. Skyrim Legendary Edition, which obviously it's it's pretty much the Game of the Year edition. Let's call it the Legendary Edition. It's going to come out in June. It's going to be $60, actually. Yes. So it's going to be $60, and it's going to come with all the DLC. So, Dawnguard, I almost said Skyfall, but I know that's not what it's called. Hearthfire and Dragonborn. And all of the patches. So, mounted combat, all that other stuff they added in later. It's all on disc. No need to patch. And the Xbox 360 one comes with the Kinect. It's Kinect compatible, all that stuff. So, if you didn't play Skyrim, go get it. It's hours of content sitting there. Anyway. Apparently, according to Sony, there is a speaker on the DualShock 4 controller, much like the original Wii controller had. Didn't know that. They just talked about that today. And there's an article on the PlayStation blog that apparently talks about some of the features. There's a video. I haven't got to watch it yet. Talks about some of the new features that are available on it. And the first comment I see is, love the new DualShock 4, but please, for the love of God, bring back Start and Select. So I don't know what that's all about. I didn't, now that I think about it, there isn't a Start and Select button on the PS4. Because I'm pretty sure it's a touchpad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Anyway, Rayman Legends swings into North America September 3rd and August 30th in the European regions. It got delayed. It was supposed to come out last year. It got delayed and then got delayed again. But during the delay, they added like 30 levels and more bosses. And it's coming to PS3, Xbox 360 now as well. Not just the Wii U. So take that, Wii U.
Yeah.
You asshole.
Really, do you really need to rub it in the Wii U's face anymore?
They've been through enough.
The Wii U's just been a mess.
I do have to rub it in its face because it's...
I'm just saying, if the Wii U was a person, right now it'd be at a local pub just ordering shot after shot after shot.
Just drowning itself in its sorrow. Just like, I was gonna be somebody.
I could have been a contender.
Could have been a contender. Could have, solved all the problems. And the guy's like, yeah, I have another one, bud. Just pouring him another shot. He's like, leave the bottle. Anyway, to pick on Nintendo some more, Wii U shipments missed targets at 3.45 million units, but they're projecting 9 million for the next fiscal year. Will it make it? Probably not. There's a lot of Nintendo news. Satoru Iwata to assume... Huh?
Sorry. For some reason, Chrome just decided it didn't want to be on anymore, and it just totally shut down everything. And I'm like,
sounded
whoa!
like you were just really hyped about that Nintendo news. You're like, oh! Oh boy! Anyway, Nintendo not doing an E3 press conference this year, holding smaller, closed events instead. What does that say? That says they've got nothing to show.
We're giving up.
Just throwing in the towel.
We suck and we're throwing in the towel.
They don't show up to Gamescom either.
Yeah.
Next month we find out that they're moving in with Sega.
Wouldn't that be funny?
That'd be a nice sitcom.
Wouldn't it? I now have this vision of Sonic the Hedgehog sitting in that bar, smoking a cigarette. He looks all worn down. He's like, "Well, look who really won in the end," you know? Oh man, I don't know, man. It's just that's weird. That's crazy to me. It's crazy. Iwata was like, it's mainly for Western gaming media, and we don't have any new hardware to announce anyway. So we're just going to do smaller events, smaller closed events that are specifically focused on our software lineup for the U.S. market. Meaning,
find a fucking software thing.
Meaning,
on that fucking console.
We'd rather not spend any money and just do Nintendo Direct than come to E3 and have a presence.
Well, you know what this does do, though? It saves us from having to sit through another god-awful Nintendo.
You know what? You're right.
So we don't have to sit through. We don't have to report on it. We don't have to talk about it.
We don't have to see.
We can just deal with Sony and Microsoft.
I don't have to see Reggie come up off the stage.
I like French food.
I like French food. I'm a zombie. This console's not going to ship enough. That's kind of mean, but whatever.
So mean.
Wii U Virtual Console launch, Punch-Out, Excitebike, F-Zero, Donkey Kong Jr., Balloon Fight, Ice Climbers, Kirby Adventure, and Super Mario World are all on the Wii U Virtual Console. Which, you know what? I might have to go buy me some Super Mario World and some, I already own Kirby's Adventure. So yeah, some Super Mario World, maybe some Punch-Out. Because, I want those. Okay, I don't know if James, you're not gonna fucking know. But, Alan, I don't know if you can answer this for me, but I'm buying a 3DS, in the next few days.
Yeah.
Off a friend. If I buy a Virtual Console game on my Wii U, can I play it on my 3DS?
I don't think so.
When you asked that, I went, that sounds like a cool functionality. That sounds like cool functionality. That doesn't sound like Nintendo, no.
Yeah. Sounds like something Sony could do.
Sony already does it.
Yeah.
Well, Sony's desperately trying to get you to get a Vita.
You can already put your PS1 games on your Vita.
Yeah. But as I said, Sony is desperately trying to get you to buy the Vita, though. Yeah. That's why they're doing it. They really want that Vita to start selling.
It's selling. Well, it's selling.
It's selling.
It's selling well in Japan now. After the price drop, I bet you at E3, I'm super confident that they're going to come out and say it's $200 now.
Yeah, a little price drop on that.
It would be
the Vita always seemed like it was one of those ones that I might consider getting, but then I was like, I'm still not into handheld gaming. The
great thing though about the Vita is that it's such an awesome handheld. It's just there's not much to play. You know what the best stuff to play is on it is indie games, because all the indie developers are fucking flocking to the Vita. I swear to God. Indie developers are flocking to Sony right now because they're so Sony just opened the doors to them in terms of PS3 development and Vita development, and the software attach rate on Vita is so damn high that indie developers are like, hell yeah, let's get on board with that, you know? I mean,
yeah.
I think something like half the people that own a Vita have Uncharted. Isn't that's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
I think they said like 1/8 of Vita owners have that Assassin's Creed game. And I mean, that's not a lot because there's not a lot of Vita owners. There's only like 4 million worldwide. But,
right.
I mean, that's still, in terms of other consoles, that's really good. That means like people who have Vitas are really hungry for games. And when the games do come out, they're definitely buying them. And I have been noticing like more stuff's been coming out, but most of it has been, you know, smaller stuff like Guacamelee, which was, you know, fucking awesome. And then that, Dragon Fantasy or what, it's Dragon Fantasy?
Yeah.
That was it's called, right? Dragon Fantasy just came out and that's supposed to be really good. And then, Thomas Was Alone just came out. Those are all like pretty indie. I mean, Guacamelee is not as indie. It's kind of a little more highbrow, but, those are like pretty indie games and they're all coming out for Vita. You know, that says something.
So, you're gonna like this because I'm gonna bring our topic of conversation right back to Nintendo bashing, but this is funny because I was just looking at what I had. You know, I'm just looking at the stuff in my room here, and I picked up the Wii U gamepad. And you know how when Indiana Jones like picks up a relic and he goes, whoosh, and a bunch of dust comes off it because it hasn't been touched for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like that much dust on this thing.
Jesus.
Yeah,
What are you just picking up
so long.
Yeah, I know. I've spent probably a total of 20 minutes in my entire life playing games on the Wii U. I've probably spent a couple hours using Netflix on it because it's in my living room, and when I have friends come over and we're drinking beer, we're not in my room, we're in the living room, and that's the only, like, source of Netflix. So I turn it on to use Netflix, and that's it. So, yeah, it is a Netflix machine in my house. And you know what's really stupid about the Netflix app on the Wii U?
What is stupid about
Dude, okay, so the Wii U controller eats battery life like
Yes.
like a fucking Hummer eats gas. All right, it just consumes the shit out of the battery life. So, like, and you can't turn the screen off while Netflix is going. So it just sits there, and within 40 minutes, if you're watching a movie, the fucking controller is dead.
Ugh.
So, like, you have to have it perpetually charging at all times. It's so, like, mind-boggling that, you know, they didn't think of, like, that, you know. Maybe we should let them turn the screen off so they can actually fucking... And you know what else is funny? Every time I play the Wii U, I never look at the TV. Have you experienced that, James? Like, do you actually look at the TV?
You mean when I play games?
When you play the Wii U, like, at all?
Not very often, no.
Yeah, you're just looking at the little screen.
Yeah, it's kind of like I take my 32-inch TV and I say, well, fuck it, I got this little screen in front of me,
Yeah.
and then I play that. I mean,
Because it feels...
I think in Mario I made an effort to look at my TV screen. Because I was like, it's the exact same image. It's just smaller. Why would I want to do that? Like, look at the bigger one. But yeah, it's distracting to have that down there and just being, you know. I guess with Madden, there is, you know, all the functionality on the gamepad is extra stuff for the game. It's not the game itself being played on
so it's like
there. So you do have to look at the TV
It's like your
screen
playbook and stuff, right?
Right. So I actually do like that functionality in Madden.
Yeah.
But like for Mario, it's tempting to just look at the gamepad.
Yeah. I really hope, like, when Pikmin 3 comes out, that I'm not just fucking staring at the little thing the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That console just annoys me. Like, it annoys the shit out of me because I don't know what to think about it when I look at it. I'm like, what the fuck were they trying to do here?
Yeah, like, you think it's like one of those things, like, come on. I mean, look, I am no marketing genius. I'm no, game manufacturer genius, but I can tell you right now that that's not what the market is asking for. This is not what we didn't ask for this.
Why are you doing this to us, Nintendo?
Yeah, it's like, look at where the PlayStation's going. Look at where Xbox is going. That's where gamers want to go. They want better graphics. They want better, more immersive experiences. They want, like, this is, I don't know what the hell this is. It's an enigma.
It's so weird. I know. And them saying, like, we're not going to E3 just solidifies it. Like,
yeah, they want to be,
they're not part of the game industry. I mean, they are, but they're, like, their own. If the entire game industry was a high school cafeteria, Nintendo would have its own table.
Oh yeah, no, Nintendo would totally be, there would be no one around Nintendo.
It would be their one table, and, you know, that would be it. And I don't know, like, that company just has, I don't know what happened to them. They used to be all about, like helping the hardcore gamer, kind of, you know. Now it's just like, I feel like they're a toy company that makes toys, and every so often they kick out a game that you need to care about. Like, they kick out a new Metroid or a Zelda, and you're like, oh, I better
a lot of their franchises never really made that graphical leap because they have these very old franchises. I mean, you think of Zelda and Metroid and Mario are all old franchises. In fact, a lot of those franchises, I'm not sure how old Metroid is, but I know that
I have the original Metroid cartridge. Let me look at it.
Is it an NES game, or was it an
SNES?
It's
an NES game.
Okay, so then they're all older than the PlayStation and the Xbox, as consoles are. Those franchises have been around longer than the Xbox or the PlayStation brand
what the fuck?
have been. So, I mean, they were always in a cartoony space, you know, because of the limited graphics of the old systems. They never jumped up to realistic graphics.
God damn.
And Nintendo never really went there with them. You know, Mario has always been cartoony and kiddish. Mm-hmm. You know, the Zelda has always been cartoony. You know,
Metroid
they never really made that
Metroid
leap.
came out in 86.
86, okay, yeah, so once again, very old, much older than PlayStation, much older than Xbox as a whole. So you look at the Xbox and PlayStation came around, and they started creating franchises like Halo and Uncharted and all of these, and those came out in this millennium. So, you know, they're rooted in better graphics and, you know, more cutting edge technology, and Nintendo's kind of stuck in the past.
Kind of, like, Nintendo is like its own little cult, sort of. I used to be a big Nintendo fanboy, and like during the GameCube era. And I played PS2 games, but I only played really specific PS2 games. And then when I got my Xbox is when I really branched out and was like, holy shit, there's like a whole new world out here. Like outside of just waiting for the next Zelda game and waiting for the next Mario game and waiting for the next Metroid game and waiting for them to actually make another Donkey Kong Country game, you know?
So it's like entering Oz for the first time.
Yeah, it's like
everything became color.
It's crazy, you know, like how much there is outside. You know, I mean, I had a PS1. Like, I freaking loved my PS1. Anyone will tell you that the background image, my lock screen on my Vita, is a PS1, like the top of the PS1. And yeah, I don't know, like Nintendo, it's just so weird, like what they're doing. I don't think they consider themselves part of the game industry. That or they just don't feel like they need to do what everybody else is doing, even if it's not as good. Like HD. When the Wii came out, they were like, oh, HD is gonna be a fad. It's like, no, it's not. HD TVs are not a fad, fool. They're not going to get like high definition picture and then be like, well, let's just go back to the squares with the SD with the little stripes. That's not going to happen. So then their console, like all their games ended up looking crappy. And then you got Reggie like lying on CNN saying, oh yeah, you know, Call of Duty looks better on the Wii U than it does on the other console. And you got like all those is it Digital Foundry? Is that the site that compares like all the games and all the consoles and all that? They did a comparison, found out he was wrong, he was lying. I don't know what they're doing there. I wouldn't be surprised if they start like laying people off in the next like 5 years.
Miyamoto actually said when Donkey Kong Country came out that Americans will buy a game with mediocre gameplay as long as the graphics are excellent.
Yeah, I think Miyamoto's overrated. I'm about to get so much hate mail. You know what? Never mind, Alan. Rename the episode to that. Let him come at me.
Miyamoto's overrated? Okay.
Miyamoto is overrated. And I'm going to say that again. I will say that till the day I die. Miyamoto is
that might not be too far from now.
rated. Yeah, it might not. It's like outside my window right now.
Like, how dare you?
Dare you? No, hear me out though. Back then, what Miyamoto was coming up with, genius. But in terms of game design now, it is so antiquated. Like,
What, you guys didn't play Wii Music?
people act like, first of all, Wii Music,
No, I never played music.
Wii Music was a tech demo that they were like, let's just put it in a box, and
Let's just put it in a box.
it really was. Like, think about it. Like, that's all it was. It was a tech demo. And then they were like, I bet we could sell this, so they put it in a box. Like, that's all it was. And it sold horribly. It sold so bad.
This episode needs to be called Nintendo bashing, because it seems to be all we're doing.
Well, it's like the mighty have fallen, you know? Like, it's crazy. And swear to God, we need to just like cut out these parts where I rant, because it seems like every episode I got a bone to pick with somebody. But no, Miyamoto, like nowadays, they always treat him like he's this fucking like god of game design.
Which he kind of is.
Well, I mean, back then, yeah, but it's not like he's designing anything new now. He's just kind of like, the last great idea he really had for a game was Pikmin.
Well, Muhammad Ali hasn't won a boxing match in a while. He's still the greatest of all time. You know, Michael Jordan hasn't played a basketball game in a while, at least not in the NBA. He's still pretty good.
Yeah, but those are different.
You know, it's like, but it's legacy.
Basketball is not an evolving thing. You
That's not true. That you clearly don't know basketball if you don't understand it.
Yeah, but have
every sport is
really
it evolves.
Have they really changed like that much? Like the fundamentals of basketball. I understand like 3-point lines and shit, like all that's new.
Well, the fundamentals of game design a lot of the fundamentals of game design haven't changed either.
Yeah, some of them.
Tenets of stuff. So yeah, but yes, basketball has changed significantly. You know, when they started out basketball, most of their shots were from almost like half court. They used to big long heaves. That was the thing. Most people didn't go down near the rim. That wasn't part of the game. In fact, dunking was so like against what people wanted that if you tried to go up and dunk, they would literally pull your legs down. Because they didn't want you dunking on them. They saw it as insulting. So yes, don't say basketball didn't evolve. It is much different.
What I mean is, like, the rules sort of didn't evolve.
The rules changed.
The rule. Okay.
Corner, it's fine. But I understand what you mean in the fact that Miyamoto is still active and Jordan and Ali aren't. So would you say
that? I'm just saying, would you say that like basketball has really evolved as much as the fucking gaming industry has? I would say no. You're still shooting a ball into a hoop, you know.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a debate for another time.
These are like weird analogies. I mean,
it's tough to compare sports to video games. But what I will say is that I give your argument a bit more credence than, say, of the Jordan or Ali argument, simply because Miyamoto is still making games and he is still relevant in game design, whereas Michael Jordan and Muhammad Ali are not still playing their respective sports.
But would you say anything he's made is really revolutionary, like lately?
Lately?
Yeah.
Not lately, no.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's one of those things. It's kind of like, I mean, how much more does he have to do? He invented so many iconic characters. Does he really need to create anything more?
I'm really surprised he hasn't retired.
Can't you just hang up just hang up his coat and just be done?
I feel like he should.
I have no idea if that's an actual saying. I just said that.
He can hang up
his coat. I don't know. Hang up his hat.
From what I know, he hasn't like directed a game since.
Mario Galaxy ones, didn't he?
He produced those.
Oh, he produced them. Okay.
He's a producer now. He hasn't directed a game since Majora's Mask, and that was N64.
He's kind of just relegating himself to a kind of like a support role.
Yeah, and I mean like he came up with Pikmin, but I feel like his job is like he just kind of goes, that might be kind of cool. But they don't really they're not really pushing the fucking, the boundaries of game design anymore at Nintendo. That's what I'm trying to say. Back then when like Mario came out, there wasn't a game like Mario. And when Zelda came out, there wasn't a game like Zelda, And now they're all over the place. But now it's like when you make a game, when you make one of those games, or when you make like a Pikmin or whatever, it's so easy to say, well, it's like this other game. Whereas like he hasn't made anything recently, but everybody still holds him up like he's the fucking king. Yeah. Like he's still making really amazing and revolutionary things, even though he's not. He's just a producer.
I think that this is kind of what I'm getting from this. Back in the day, obviously he created a lot of iconic things and was a pioneer of a lot of different games and ways of designing games. Yes, I'd say right now he's still obviously a very well-respected voice, but he's not the only voice anymore. It used to be that basically it was Miyamoto. He was the biggest and best game designer, and he created the biggest and best games. Now there are a ton of people out there who create experiences that are just as good, if not better than his, like recent stuff.
Yeah.
So he's still a respected, part of the community, but he's not the only voice. He's not the authority anymore. He's just an authority. I think that's kind of where the difference comes in.
I guess.
Like now to then.
I still think people kind of put him on a pedestal.
Well, I mean, can't you rest on your laurels after a while? I mean, it's, he's been creating games for a while. He did in his career more than, probably any of us are going to do in our entire lives. And you could just take one of the franchises he's created, and that's probably more than we're ever going to do. So I think he just I think he gets a pass,
True. But I will say this, Nintendo does not, like, they always seem like, oh yeah, we got all this touchscreen shit, but it doesn't seem like they're really pushing their franchises any further down the line.
That is true. They have invested, especially because the Wii did so well, they've invested in gimmicks.
Pretty much.
And gimmicks has become the gimmick. He's like, Nintendo, gimmicks. That could be like their subtitle for their company.
Gimmick-tendo.
And that's, Nintendo, gimmicks. We're about gimmicks.
Pretty much. Like, they
been
just...
their thing, yeah.
Nintendo, we only do gimmicks.
I was there the morning the DS came out. The original, fat, silver Nintendo DS. I was so hyped for that frigging thing. Like, I went to the mall an hour early and just sat outside the GameStop, just waiting. Like, I was that committed. I saved up like my pennies because I was like a freshman in high school when it came out, so I didn't have any money. Saved up like all this change and all this money and kept just walking into GameStop every time I got like a couple dollars, putting it on there until it was all paid off. Got it, like, and then, a year later, wasn't playing the thing. Because it's just like, after a while, like, what are we waiting for? You're waiting for a new Zelda, you're waiting for a new something else. It's like, and no third-party developer wants to go to Nintendo. Like, it's a problem. It's a huge problem. They don't keep up with pace. And I think it's starting to catch up with them. Sure, like, I think the 3DS is, like, totally keeping that boat afloat over there. Because the Wii U just seems like a fucking commercial flop right now. But I don't know. I mean, things could change. Anyway, let's keep going.
We took so long on
I know, that became like a weird...
That became a thing.
Yeah. Anyway, PS3 4.4.1 minor firmware update out today. I actually just downloaded it. It improves system stability. So that's it. But how many of those fucking patches do we get? We get so many of them. Like, all the time. They're like, this one improves system stability. It's like, oh, okay. But, anyway. EA Partners label is being closed, which, EA Partners was basically a third-party co-publishing, firm within EA that helped publish, the Crysis series, Shadows of the Damned, Alice Madness Returns, Bulletstorm, Brutal Legend, and Rock Band. They're being shut down. Everyone's being laid off. And I guess that's that. Poor EA. Well, I shouldn't say poor EA, because they do a lot of unscrupulous things. I don't think they're the worst company in the world, like everyone always wants them to say, or everybody always says, but I'm not a fan of a lot of the things they do. Like, microtransactions in every game. Not every game needs a goddamn microtransaction. It's just a way of life. Like,
but didn't they, I'm zoning in and out. You're talking about EA, right?
Yes.
Right, didn't EA,
Man, James, you're putting 100% into this.
Didn't EA, backtrack on that and say that, like, those are just digital, like, the mobile games are gonna have microtransactions?
I don't think so. I think they were just trying to cover their ass. I think every single game they make from now on is gonna have fucking microtransactions. They're gonna be like, oh, you're playing Mirror's Edge. You could jump slightly farther if you buy Faith these shoes. Be like, fuck off, EA. God.
I'm gonna play this the way I want to play it.
Play it the way I want to play it. Anyway, Lord of the Rings Online Helm's Deep expansion coming this fall. The game level caps being raised to 95. More story missions, new skills, new class specializations, all that shit. So if you play Lord of the Rings Online, there you go, more shit. They release a lot of content for that game.
I don't think I'm ever gonna make it to 95. I'm only like a level 1.
Yeah, I really like the game. I played it a little bit and I was like, I don't really like this. But I mean, if you like it, more power to you. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. 2K Marin's XCOM shooter, which has been like through development hell for years, is reportedly
undergoing a change.
Yeah, renamed. It's being renamed. I forget what it's being renamed to.
The Bureau.
I don't see that. The Bureau. That's right. That's the rumored name for it. But it's apparently going to be re-revealed this week at some point. Although that post was yesterday, so either late today or tomorrow morning we might hear about it. But we'll see. I'm not surprised that it's not going to be an XCOM game because, I mean, it had nothing to do with XCOM.
Well, they also completely changed it. Like Fallout, they changed it from isometric to first person to an FPS.
Yeah.
And also the website for the Bureau, what happened in 62. The XCOM game was also set in 1962.
Gotcha.
So it further lends proof that they're the same.
Yeah. That'll be cool. Anyway, that one's not important. Alright. No, it was something about Unity, and you guys are gonna be like, okay, whatever. Unity's a development engine, and if you're not a game developer, you're not gonna give a fuck. So, SimCity 2.0 fixes bugs, but adds new ones. Users complain. Let's see, what bugs did they have? Okay, so SimCity players have found that their production rates slowed when in cheetah mode, whatever the fuck that is.
That's the mode that makes it go faster.
Oh, okay.
Hence the name.
Yeah, I guess. I thought there were just Cheetos everywhere or something. Others are complaining of impotent fire trucks unable to combat fires across the city, while others are reporting their cities are reverting to older saves. For some, buildings are endlessly mired in construction and never finished. I don't know how that game sold 1.1 million copies with all of the fucking problems it has.
I'm one of those.
Huh?
I said I'm one of those.
You bought it?
Yeah, I haven't played it since.
God, yeah, it's 'cause like everybody was so hyped for it at midnight, and then it just
everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong.
Yeah, it's like Diablo 3. Like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, except they fixed all those problems within an hour, and it's been like months. It's been months. Speaking of Diablo 3, BlizzCon tickets went on sale, and they were gone in 29 minutes. So if you wanted to go, you gotta look. Actually, the first round of tickets are gone. Next Saturday you can try and get some tickets. I think there's going to be, including the next one, 2 other rounds. to get into BlizzCon. The tickets are $175, and BlizzCon is November 8th. I've always wanted to go to BlizzCon, but I don't have $178 or $75. Let's see. Okay. PSA. No online play for Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R on Vita. Not sure why. That's kind of lame. I actually thought about buying that because I really like Guilty Gear, but now I'm kind of like, When you say it doesn't have online multiplayer, I feel like it's stripped down. Judging by the crippling silence, I can tell that nobody gives a fuck about Guilty Gear.
Nope.
Sorry. You know me, I'm a AAA kind of guy.
This one will make us all cringe because it made me cringe. I was like, God damn it, when I heard about this. Rumor, Batman Arkham Origins to have a multiplayer mode. And I'm like, God.
On the DualShock show, Nate Hole actually called this.
He called
it?
Yeah,
he called it.
Oh, he didn't necessarily call it. He said one of the things he wanted was a multiplayer mode.
Nate, God damn it, why would you say that?
Damn it, Nate, why?
It's like one of the worst things you could want.
We have to have a podcast called Josh and James Gang Up on Nate, and then just have the three of us and we just go, what the fuck, man?
It's like 5 years after this game comes out, like you just had to want multiplayer in it, didn't you? Anyway, Batman Arkham Origins will reportedly be the first game in the series to have a multiplayer component. Kotaku, citing two sources, notes that one mode will place players in Joker or Bane's gang going to bring down the Batman and Robin. The villains involved, who may be playable and customizable, including Killer Croc, Deadshot, Firefly, Black Mask, Deathstroke, and some kind of Electro-Man character, and these are in quotes, reports the site, this could be one multiplayer mode, or it could only... this could be one multiplayer mode, or it could be the only one. We don't know.
Okay.
Batman Arkham Origins will launch October 25th for current generation platforms and PC.
Who wants to play as a crony for the Joker or Bane?
Not me.
People like Batman
Seriously.
City, Gotham City Imposters.
Batman City.
Yeah, I guess.
But am I the one? Am I alone in I hate multiplayer modes in games?
Not
Depends
all.
on what it is.
I mean, it depends on what it is. I mean, Halo 4 multiplayer is pretty fun.
No. Games where they shoehorn it in, like...
well, yeah, I mean, shoehorning...
Like Tomb Raider? They're awful multiplayer.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider has multiplayer?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
You're kidding me, right?
No, I'm serious.
Josh,
I
you
didn't
could
know
tell
it
by
had
the way he said it.
I really didn't know it had multiplayer.
Dude, it's in the menu!
I don't read menus. I just press the top thing. Whatever the top thing is, I just keep pressing A.
What if it's like a
Get rid of the
horizontal
game.
menu?
I'm sorry?
I said, what if it's a horizontal menu?
I don't play games with horizontal menus.
You play Injustice, that has a horizontal menu.
I press start and it goes. The amount of time I spend thinking about the menu is just so slim, it's not even worth talking about.
We fucking talked about the multiplayer on this thing, and I've said, I've played it, and it's awful. Anyway.
Maybe it's just,
although
early Alzheimer's. Really early Alzheimer's.
I like to give stuff a chance, because I said the same thing when they were like, we're putting multiplayer in Assassin's Creed, and I'm like, that's fucking stupid, and then it ended up being awesome as hell.
Mm. Well, Mass Effect, the same thing. In Mass Effect 3, people hated the idea of multiplayer. It turned out it was like, meh. It wasn't horrible. It didn't destroy the experience. And it wasn't revolutionary. It was just kind of fun.
This isn't horrible.
I guess, but I don't know. But you know what? I just don't want them. There's already enough. First of all, it's a prequel, which is like, just fuck you. So just keep going forward. Keep going forward with the story. There was enough stuff to go with. Why are you going back? There was no need to do a prequel. Gears of War, it made sense to do a prequel because you know what? They wrapped up the story in Gears of War 3. Prequel made sense. Even Halo Reach made sense after Halo 3. It made sense to do a prequel because they had finished the fight, right? Why not? And then they ended up going forward again after a while. There was no reason to have a prequel to Batman, to Arkham City. Keep going forward. I don't like this idea. So first off, you start by pissing me off with making it a prequel. And then secondly, you don't even have, Rocksteady's not even developing the game. So
they gave them their blessing, apparently.
Okay, well, duh. Of course they gave them their blessing. Number 2, or number 3. No, that was number 2. This is number 3 now. This is strike number 3. You're throwing in a multiplayer mode that you don't need in a game, because the Batman Arkham games are definitely single-player games. And you know what? We have a different studio. So we're going to shift priorities and decide that, hey, let's have people work on the multiplayer element instead of working on the main game, which is what you should be doing. I mean, I am so upset that there is even
obviously
there's even a possibility that Arkham City, which is one of my favorite games of all time, might be followed up by a piece of shit. Like it would be almost as devastating as Sanctum of Shit was after Ghostbusters.
It's like we said. This feels like another one of those games where they're like, well, we better kick one out before, the next gen starts, because I have a feeling Rocksteady is either working on a new IP, they're working on a next gen Batman game, or they're working on what I wish they were working on, which was a Superman game.
Yeah.
For next gen.
I would like to see someone tackle a Superman game without it being ridiculous, but
Factor 5 was.
The problem with Superman is that, like, see, you get a game like Batman. Batman's a regular guy. He doesn't have superpowers. He has a lot of gadgets, but, people in action adventure games can have gadgets. Superman is, superpowered alien. Almost an all-powerful alien. It's hard to control that. It's hard to, make it. I mean, it's a problem. The problem with Superman stories too, which, I mean, it's not like there were no good Superman stories. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the difficulty is that you have to find enemies who are believable, because bank robbers are not believable enemies for Superman. They are for Batman, not for Superman. Superman should never have to deal with
Superman always fights like aliens and Lex Luthor.
He has to fight somebody who's outside of the realm of regular stuff. That's why it makes it harder to write the story, and that's why it makes it harder.
Well, here's the thing, though, that this is we talked about this at the Vita launch, and this random guy, because we were saying how could they make a good Superman game, and he said make it an origin story, so that he's just learning his powers, and then you have a reason to justify the fact that he doesn't know anything. It's like a young Superman, and he's not as strong as he is when he's normal. When it gets normally better.
That's not a bad idea for one game, but how do you go forward from that? I mean, what we really need is a mechanic for an adult Superman.
I don't think
that
you
has
can.
With all his powers that works.
I don't think you really can go forward from that unless
there has to be a way to make a Superman game where Superman is fully powered and yet it's still a good experience. There has to be.
I don't know. Somebody else is gonna have to figure that out.
I actually wrote a.
I am but man.
Oh, you did write it. You wrote a piece that's waiting in the back end about a Superman game, didn't you?
Well,
so I'm not gonna spoil that. So,
all right, we won't spoil it.
All right.
So, but check the site. It'll probably be up by the time this podcast is up. Maybe it won't be. Maybe it will.
Maybe it won't be. Maybe we'll just never post it.
Maybe we'll. Maybe we'll never post it. Maybe it'll just go and fade into the background. Who knows? Something will happen.
Here we go.
I'll guarantee you this. Stuff will continue to happen.
I saved the most discussable topic for last.
I thought you were going to say disgusting.
Yeah,
no. Well, depending on who you talk to. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Microsoft to reveal next generation Xbox, May 21st.
Bingo.
On that day, these are quotes from Major Nelson, and I don't know why I was saying them like that. We will share our vision for Xbox and give you a real taste of the future. Then, 19 days later at the Electronic Entertainment Expo E3 in Los Angeles, Jesus, we'll continue the conversation and showcase our full lineup of blockbuster games. Oh.
No, I was trying
to make Major Nelson sound like Hedonism Bot from Futurama.
Oh, goodness.
Now lather me in butter.
Alright, so May 21st, Xbox reveal.
So they're doing it on
E3.
They're doing it on the Microsoft Redmond, Washington campus, Tuesday, May 21st, 1 p.m. Eastern time, so 10 a.m. Pacific time. I believe it's going to be live streamed, right?
I would guess.
I'm pretty sure it is going to be live streamed. Oh, yeah, well, it says, we invite you to join us via the live global stream that will be on Xbox Live and Xbox.com. So, by the way, you can come to VGU.TV. Somebody there will be live blogging it. I don't know who, but somebody's going to be doing it.
Someone.
Yeah.
Figure something out. We'll figure out some way to
We'll figure it out. But basically, we know nothing other than we're going to show the console. So, not even that. I bet you they will, and then everybody will be like, that was better, they showed the console. Even though, and we were having this discussion in the staff chat, I said, all the stupid asses are going to come out of the woodwork after this reveal and say it was better than Sony's just because they showed the console. Even though the new Xbox console, I bet you, is just going to be like a black box with an X on it. Just like the PS4 is just going to be a black box with a PlayStation logo on it. It's like, who the hell cares? I'm more interested in what it does than what it looks like, and you should be too. I mean, I'm not saying it should be like a pyramid, and it should have all this obnoxious, like, crap on it and be pink, but you know they're not gonna do that. It's just gonna be a black box. So why do you care, you know? I don't know. And I am definitely scared for it. Part of me doesn't want to buy it, like, at all. And that's not out of fanboyism. It's out of what I know about it. It's out of what I experienced with the Xbox 360. It doesn't make me a confident consumer in the next Xbox.
I mean, I think this is similar to, like, well, I mean, I'm getting a PlayStation regardless. I'm getting an Xbox regardless. I'm getting them both, but
I mean, I'll probably get the new Xbox too. But if it doesn't impress me in this and at E3, probably will not be buying it day one.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what the launch lineup is, to be honest, because, like, you know, you can wait on certain consoles. I would be, like, the problem with Xbox is that if it comes out this November, Halo 5 is not coming out until, I think, 2015. We already know that. Gears just had a release in March. So that's probably not going to be a launch game for Gears. Probably not. Possibly, but probably not.
The only games we know.
I mean, so what's really good? Like, Halo and Gears were the big two ones in terms of exclusives. And then if you want to look at multi-platform, yeah, I mean, you'll have a Call of Duty.
I can tell you three games that we know will be on the system. Battlefield 4. It's going to be on the system.
Yeah, but that's a multi-platform.
Assassin's Creed 3 will be on the system.
That's a multi-platform.
And Destiny. I know. They're all multi-platform.
So you got all multi-platform. Destiny, we're not even sure when that's coming out.
But think about it, like, most of the Xbox games aren't exclusive anyway, so it's like,
well, that is true.
Really know
I mean, a lot of the selling point of a console, people talk about the exclusives, and they talk about buying, you know, their Xbox for this and that. And I mean, yeah, Xbox Live, a lot of people, because, you know, they want to play Call of Duty, and the best Call of Duty experience is on the Xbox. But, well, yeah. Well, I'm talking about consoles. I'm not talking about that.
Oh.
PC's it's another thing. I don't even think about it when I'm talking. I use PCs for word processing and the internet. That's what I do. PCs. Yeah, what was I talking about?
Talking about the Xbox.
Oh yeah, the exclusive. In terms of, yeah, everyone always talks about, like, the kind of the utility of a console and the launch lineup based on what kind of exclusives are there. What's going to be just for that? What new experience are you bringing to the table just for you? Sony clearly has several that they're going to be coming out with. I mean, you got Infamous, you got Killzone, you got what else is on? I think, well, definitely those two. But I'm sorry, I just got I got a question from somebody. I put out a thing asking for the podcast.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And the question came in, what is the meaning of life? And where can I find the knights who say knee?
The meaning of life is to play video games, and
so a lot of people are miserably failing.
And lather yourself in butter. As hedonism bot would say, certainly failing. Everyone go look up hedonism. That is the meaning of life.
And then the Knights Who Say Knee, I mean, weren't they in the forest?
They are in the forest.
Yeah, they're in the forest. So that's where you can
bring
find
a shrubbery into the forest. They'll come out.
Oh, and that was from Paul Miller, just by the way.
Okay. Yeah. Old Paul Miller.
Old Paul Miller. I actually have another question. So when we're done with the Xbox chat, I do have one question. That's a legit question.
Okay. Well, I know. I love the reason I was excited about the Xbox 360, and this is why I decided to buy it over the Wii. Well, other than the fact that when I saw the Wii controller, I was furious. I'm not even lying. Like, I had been hyping up the Revolution, as it was called.
Yeah.
That was its code name, for like a whole year. And I was a huge Nintendo fanboy, and when I saw that shit, like, I was like, what? I was so mad. I was like, I can't believe they would sell something as stupid as this. And then I immediately was like, I'm buying an Xbox.
Josh's not a fan of the waggle.
No, I hate it. I want to play with a controller. I don't want to waggle a freaking TV remote on my TV. Like, swing the sword! No, I don't want to do that. Go to hell. Anyway, the reason I bought it is because it sounded like something that we'd never seen before, and they had this whole promise of. I remember Jay Allard, he's like coming out on stage. He was like sitting Indian style in the middle of the stage, like getting to everybody's level and shit. That guy was a marketing mastermind, I swear to God. It's too bad he doesn't work at Microsoft anymore. But anyway, they were saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna attract all these different kinds of people to come to like Xbox Live. They're all gonna come for different reasons. Some people are gonna be there like creating content, and you're gonna be able to sell your content and buy other people's content. So if you're playing Tony Hawk or something, you can sell like t-shirts and outfits that you made to people, and you'll be able to make your own skate parks and like sell them, and you can download other people's skate parks, and it's gonna be this huge like canvas for developers. It's gonna have all this stuff and all these exclusive games, and you're always connected. It's all about personalizing it. The front of the whole fucking system comes off, and you can put a whole different front of the fucking system on there. Like, it was crazy. It's like the amount of, like, it felt like it was for you, You're like, this, like, when you look at everybody's Xbox, you're gonna be like, this is, that's his Xbox, this is my Xbox. It looks much different. It's catered to my experience. But then, around when it came out, we had all these hardware issues. I went through 5 Xboxes, and gotta say, did not make me confident in their product. Like, I just gotta say it. It didn't make me confident in their product. Time went on. We're getting like 2 games a freaking year, not counting like Xbox Live Arcade games, which would all eventually come to the PlayStation and PC anyway. Like, most of them did, except for Shadow Complex, which, by the way, Microsoft, where the fuck is the Shadow Complex sequel? We've all been asking for it for, like, 4 fucking years. Jesus Christ. Take my money. Second of all, like, I shouldn't have to go through all the repair bullshit and buying separate consoles. Like, I shouldn't have had to have 5 Xboxes. I've only had 1 PS3. Why did I have 5 Xboxes? It's because their hardware was poorly designed, it was too compact, it overheated, it had all these issues, I had to pay for online play, I had to do all this other stuff, I can't watch Netflix for free, which is like ridiculous. I'm not saying like I can't not pay for Netflix, of course I gotta pay for Netflix, but I don't want to pay extra to watch Netflix, alright? And there's just like there's a lot wrong with that console, and I hate the fact that every time I turn it on, it's a page of advertisements. Yeah. It's like, what's happening in sports? What's happening here? Oh man, Halo just came out. Oh shit, you want to watch this video or this and this? And it's like Justin Bieber's playing his Xbox. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Just let me play my games. You should open up, and it should have just been like it was before. Your profile. And then it's like, let's go.
I yearn for the Days of the Blades system from,
Dude, the Blades were so cool. I loved the Blades. Loved the blades. And I used, man, back when the 360 launched, I loved it. I was like always rocking. I had all my own music like loaded on it. I was always rocking that, like playing Perfect Dark and playing Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter for like 12 hours straight with my friends and like all these people online, and it was something else. Like, it was new. But then it just like dwindled like as it went on. Like, more and more consoles broke, and then suddenly all it became about was like Call of Duty's coming out, and then when's Halo coming out, or when's Gears coming out, and that's it. It turned back into that like Nintendo thing, where it was like every couple of months I'm just waiting for that next fucking game. You know? And it's not like they were any like that much different, you know? What's think about it. Halo, Gears, and Call of Duty. They're all shooters. Sure, they all work differently. They're all different universes, and one's a third-person shooter. But, like, when you break it down to its most core fundamental, what are you doing? You're just shooting motherfuckers. Like, maybe I don't want to do that, like, all the time, and maybe I don't want to wait for the next chance to just shoot aliens, you know? Or shoot terrorists.
Coming from the Uncharted fan, who does a lot of shooting. He shoots a lot of people.
But that's not the point. What I'm saying is, like, when you get, like...
I know what you're saying.
Think about it. When you get your PlayStation, right, like, all the exclusives are so different from each other. You know? Like, maybe a shooter comes out next month, but the month after that, it's like Little Big Planet, or it's some crazy indie game you just gotta play, or it's, you know, Journey, or it's, you know, God of War. You know, they're all really, really different. Well, it's not like you're just waiting for the next chance to shoot somebody. And my problem with Xbox is that that's all it feels like. It just feels like the Madden, Call of Duty, Halo, Gears machine. That's all it feels like. And it's like, on top of that, you gotta pay more.
I guess those are the games I like, you know, the Madden, Call of Duty, Halo, Gears machine. Those are the games I like. So.
The problem is I like a lot of different games. I like, you know, I love Little Big Planet. I love, like, all these PlayStation franchises that I've grown up with. I love having my Final Fantasy games have better graphics. Like Final Fantasy 13 when it came out, like, it had way better graphics on the PS3. Don't try to argue with me. Okay. And you know what? I still like Final Fantasy 13, even though, like, I don't fucking want any sequels. I'm running out of steam here. I mean, like, this Xbox really has to impress me. They need to come out of the gates. They really need to open up Xbox Live some more. They need to be a little more like, I think PSN needs to do this too. They really need to take some pages out of Steam's book. You know, they need to look at Steam and say, like, why is this so successful? Because they're giving their users the freedom to do the stuff they want to do. You know?
Steam sales.
Steam sales, well, PSN's been doing a really good thing.
Not Xbox.
PSN has lots of good sales.
Right
like,
now,
all the time.
There's a Resident Evil one going on.
Yes, the last week they've been doing their
spring sales,
Spring Madness thing or whatever, and or Spring Fever, and Spring Madness, Spring Fever. Last week they had the entire Grand Theft Auto franchise on sale. Don't really like Grand Theft Auto, but that's cool. And then this week it's like the entire Resident Evil franchise is on sale. You know,
you can get the first 3 for about less than $10.
Yeah, see, like that's cool. Xbox barely does that. I mean, they've been having sales. They kind of do that, but at the same time, it's like, why am I going to play this on my Xbox? I don't know. They really got to impress me. They got to really come out and be like all about the gamer, because if they come out and they're just like, here's Kinect 2.0 and you could fucking dance around and like do all this stupid shit, and then oh man, here's Smart Glass, and here's you can like look at your tablet while watching a fucking football game. It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't care. Like, what are you offering me other than the next Halo, the next Gears, or the next Call of Duty? Like, what are you offering me besides that? Because if they just come out and say like, oh, it's got all these TV features and you can record your TV. That's nice. I don't watch TV, you know? So like, what are you gonna give me?
Yeah, so Josh is thoroughly ready to not be impressed.
Oh, no, I'm ready. Like, I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch the whole thing. I will keep an open mind, you know, and if it does really impress me and they come out and have some really cool games that are only on Xbox, then I will say, hey, you know, I will get one. My problem is if they come out and they say like it's like all this rumored TV stuff and it's just going to be kind of more of the same, they're just going along with the thing and it's Connect 2.0, I really don't see any reason why I need to buy it. I don't see, there's nothing in that package that is of interest to me as a person. Like I said, I don't give a shit about sports. I don't really watch TV. Like, the only time I watch TV is when, like, Walking Dead or Breaking Bad or Sons of Anarchy are on, and even then I'm doing it on demand. So am I really watching TV, you know? And I just watch, like, Netflix and shit. And I don't watch Netflix on my Xbox, maybe because I don't have one. But when I did, you know, I didn't watch it on my Xbox. I watched it on my PlayStation because I didn't have to pay for Xbox Live. And really, like, if I'm only playing, like, one game a year on my Xbox, why am I going to pay for a whole year worth of Xbox Live? I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, that doesn't make much sense.
But I don't know. I don't know I really don't know what to expect. I expect them to show the box. I imagine the controller will look pretty much the same. And it'll probably be called, like, Xbox Infinity or Xbox 8, you know. The interface will look like Windows 8. I'm like almost 100% confident that it's going to look like Windows 8, except it's going to be more green and there's going to have a fucking avatar on it. That's what I think. But I want to know what you think, because I've been ranting for like 20 minutes about how I'm like most likely not going to be impressed.
I just want to, you know, see what kind of games and stuff and functionality. I mean, it's really just, I want to see what's going to happen. I'm not sure what we're going to see. I mean, I'm not going to be blown away, I think, by anything. I doubt I'll be blown away, but I think it'll be enough to be, yeah, sure, I'm going to get it. I mean, as I've said, it's kind of a moot point for me. I'm buying a PlayStation and an Xbox regardless of what happens. I got a Wii U, you know, so I'm getting them all. We'll just see, you know, what kind of games they're going to have, because the software lineup is going to be what I'm looking at the most. And that is with any game console, you know. I want to see that they're going to have a solid amount of games at launch, or at least in the launch window, so that it's not like the Wii U where I ran out of experience, you know, a few minutes into playing the thing.
I only beat one Wii game ever. It's Mario Galaxy 1. Okay, no, take that back, 2. I beat Smash Brothers Brawl.
If you can call getting a 300 in bowling on Wii Bowling, beating it, then yeah.
Holy shit, no way. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I bowled a perfect game.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, if they're willing to go more open source with Xbox Live and maybe offer their silver members, like, more chances to play online, I really think they should have just said, like, okay, if you're silver, you can play on the weekends.
Yeah, they could do something like that to try to, but I mean, you know, they want the money. I mean, it's such a part, getting that money is such an important part of their business plan that they can't afford to have a lot of people not paying the money.
The problem is, like, Xbox is the lowest, like, the lowest, performing division within Microsoft. And they don't make a lot of money. I'm not saying they lose money, but they certainly don't make a lot of it. And I can't remember who, but he was a former Microsoft exec, said that he's sure that even if this isn't the last console generation, it's probably the last Xbox, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, I mean, I would probably be surprised, though, if it was the last Xbox. Although they did shut down Zune, but I'm pretty sure Zune was like a colossal failure.
Yeah.
I bought one though. I thought it was fucking awesome.
I use my iPod.
I had an iPod and all I ever had was like problems with it. My Zune like always worked.
I never had issues with my iPods. Well, I had one brick. One did. Now that I'm thinking about it, yes, I did have one that bricked. But I mean, I dropped it a couple times. So, you know. I should just drop my iPod today.
Yourself in butter.
Let it go when it went flying.
Maybe if you'd stop lathering yourself in butter, you wouldn't be dropping your iPod. Oh my god.
Alright, do we want to say anything else, or are we good? I think we've talked about it a lot.
All I did was talk shit.
Well, that's your thing, you know?
I guess.
Alright.
Yeah.
Do you wanna?
What are our questions?
Alright, so let me go back to Facebook, to get the one question that I do have that was real. I do know it's from Thomas Freeman. That's right, this is the question. Okay. He says, what games did you, like that didn't get, good review scores? So, a game that you like, but
Mirror's Edge? I don't know, Mirror's Edge got like a lot of mixed reviews, and most of them were like 7s, but I fucking love that game. Yeah. That's the only one. I gotta look at my collection now. See what didn't get good review scores.
For me, it's Fallout New Vegas.
New Vegas, yeah. Well,
it did kind of get mixed scores.
Well, yeah, what kind of scores did it get, though? Was it like 7s and 8s?
Or? A lot of 7s, 8s.
Mm.
I expected it to get a lot of 9s, to be honest.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
it's just because they were like, it's more Fallout.
That was buggy as hell when it first came out.
Yeah, really.
That was I think what most people got pissed about. Yeah, I did like I mean I loved Fallout New Vegas. I thought it was really good. I wouldn't say that I like loved this game, but I didn't agree with a lot of the review scores. Medal of Honor Warfighter. Warfighter I thought was a decent game that got really shelled a little unfairly. I think people were sick of the generic shooter, and they kind of took it out on this one, where it was a pretty good game that was worthy of like a 6 or a 7 or something in that range. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think IGN gave it a 4. I mean, it was not that bad. It wasn't.
They say that like they were upset, so they took it out on this one.
Yeah, I think that like a lot of reviewers kind of took out, you know, the fact their aggression and how upset they were with the fact that we were getting a lot of very vanilla, plain Jane shooters, that they were just annoyed. And they were like, well, fuck this one because it's another one and it's not named Call of Duty or Battlefield, so let's go out on this one. And yeah, I mean, yeah, the story was ridiculous. You know, it was way too hard to follow because of all the military jargon. Like, they tried to go, you know, all super authentic with all the tier 1 operators and everything, but they used all these terms that just, I mean, oh, come on. Like, you know, like, how do you expect, you're not selling this game to the military, you're selling it to civilians. How are they going to understand these terms? Like, you gotta be kidding me. I had to run by, like, the entire script. I basically had to run the entire script by my brother who's in the Army, and he had to explain it to me because I had no idea what was going on and what they were saying. I mean, it was ridiculous. It's like you need a translator. So, and, you know, the fact that they would do jet setting all over the place, and it was too much. So the story was a mess. The multiplayer was, like, just okay. You know, I mean, the graphics were decent. It was just, I think it got unfairly trashed on. I wouldn't say it's a game that now I go back to all the time because I haven't touched it in a while. But I just think it was kind of got unfair low scores. It didn't deserve low scores that low.
Yeah. I can't think of anything really other than Mirror's Edge, but I know a lot of people like really beloved Mirror's Edge. They really love it.
Yeah, that got like a cult following. I'm trying to think of like any other games here, because I mean the thing is, most of the games that I buy are games that are very well reviewed. I mean, I got Gears, I got Halo, I got Mass Effect.
I have another one, Dante's Inferno. I think that game is awesome. I don't know why people didn't really like it. I think the main reason is they said like, oh, it's like a ripoff of God of War, and it totally is. But that's not the point. You know, it's like saying, you know, Doom is a ripoff of Wolfenstein, and yes, people, I know it from id. They're both id games. fuck off for a second and just let me make this analogy. If you break the Doom and Wolfenstein down, what are they? They're really the same thing. You're just running through hallways shooting dudes. And
But I mean,
really, like, God of War and Dante's Inferno are kind of the same thing. You're like running through hallways and just hacking people to bits and like button mashing and doing combos, and collecting little hidden collectibles and scaling walls, except it's just in different settings. Dante's Inferno is not really based on the book very much. It's loosely based, and I remember when it was coming out, everybody was like, "Oh, how are they gonna make a game out of a book where it's just two dudes walking the whole time?" It's like, all right, it's actually a little bit based on that, but most of it is based on this Greek myth. Cannot remember the name off the top of my head, but it's basically a guy and girl. They fall in love. The girl dies. The guy's like, "Fuck that! I'm so in love with her. I'm gonna go down into Hades and get her back." And then he like plays. He's like super good at playing the harp. He like makes people cry and shit because it's so beautiful. He makes the god of death cry, and then he says that she can leave as long as he doesn't look back at her. And as he gets outside, he gets frightened that she's not there and turns around, and then she gets sucked back down into the darkness. It's kind of based on that a little bit, but yeah, you're Dante. You kill the Grim Reaper in the first 5 seconds of the game. Come on, people. It's not supposed to be based on like any scripture or anything. It's supposed to be ridiculous. Like, your father was a glutton, so when you get down into the gluttony area, it's this huge fat dude, and he's like, and you like cut them open, and they're like, all their fluids come out, and they're like pooping all over themselves.
Oh.
Dude, James, it's hell. You of all people should know about the horrors of hell, alright?
But it's still gross though.
That's the point. It's supposed to be, but I mean, it's still a fun game, and you can get it now for like $8. And I think $8 for Dante's Inferno, a game, I mean, if you wanted to 100% it, honestly, like 10 hours you can have all the achievements and the trophies in the game. But for $8, it's a fun game. It's really short, but I think the voice acting in it's really good too. Surprisingly, like, I don't know, like, some games you play them and they're supposed to be really good, but the voice acting just awful. And then there's some games that you play that are really bad and the voice acting is okay. This one, it's like the game's all right, but the voice acting for some reason is just like really good, and you just like, I don't know. People must have overlooked that. Because there's a couple lines in that game I still remember. Like when you kill Midas. That's such an awesome boss battle. But anyway. Yeah, Dante's Inferno. People talk shit about that game, but it's awesome. More people should give it a try. My best friend just bought it. He was like, "I know I'm really late to this, but I just bought Dante's Inferno." And he's like a huge God of War fan. I was like, "Dude, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love Dante's Inferno. It's so fun. Give it a chance, people." Yeah, that's it. That's all I can think of.
All right.
Anything? No, I got it. I guess that's it for the show.
I think we've run our course here.
Alright, this has been the VGU.TV GamerCast. You can find us on iTunes. Follow us. That would be very nice. Leave us some comments. Leave us some ratings. You can follow me on Twitter. I am at PackPunk, PACPUNK. James is at James Mangello. Alan, do not remember your Twitter handle. What is it?
The Alan Muir.
Okay, so at the Alan Muir. And then your last name is Muir.
Yes?
Yeah, I got it right. Anyway, you can follow the site at VGU.TV. Come to VGU.TV. We got lots of nice articles. We got podcasts, videos, soon to have guides. Ooh, yeah. Got some people working on those. And, if you want us to answer your questions on the show, you can @message us at VGU.TV, or you can send us emails. You can send me an email at joshua.mobley@VGU.TV. I will read it on the air, all that good stuff. And that's it for our show. Peace out, everybody.